Here's a stat that should terrify you as an agency owner. On average, you need to send 2,000 emails to close one client. That's a 0.05% cold email to client conversion rate. That means if you're out there pushing marketing or AI services you offer through Go High Level or whatever else, and you're using cold email and generic prospecting, you're burning through 1,999 leads just to close one client. And chances are that when you do close them, you're fighting an uphill battle because you've positioned yourself as just another vendor trying to sell them something. You're a commodity. But Steve, you say, by the way, I'm Steve, there has to be a better way, and there is. It's called the pull strategy, and it flips this entire model on its head. Instead of chasing clients, you build a system that makes them come to you, warm, qualified, and ready to buy. And I'm going to show you exactly how to build it. Let's get into it. Quick context for anyone new here. If you're running an agency or thinking about starting one on Go High Level especially, then this video is for you. It'll apply even if you don't use High Level, but some of the terminology that I mentioned, like workflows or snapshots, may be a little less familiar. You should be able to follow along though, regardless. And if you don't know what Go High Level is, it's an all-in-one marketing automation / AI service platform for agencies. There's a link in the description for a free trial if you're interested. If not, no worries. Anyway, here's the problem most agencies face: unpredictable lead flow. So let's fix that. One month you're slammed with clients running around with your hair on fire and can't catch your breath. The next month you're scrambling to fill the pipeline. You're constantly out there pushing, sending cold emails, running paid ads, doing outreach on LinkedIn, hoping something sticks and you're outbound. I 1000% get it. It's rough out there. And when your entire client acquisition strategy is based on pushing generic services to cold audiences, you end up in what I call the push trap. So what exactly is the push trap? It's when you rely on generic cold outreach to sell generic services. And when you do that, you become a commodity. You're indistinguishable from the thousands of other Go High Level agencies out there selling the same snapshot templates, the same automations, the same "will get you more leads" pitch. This forces you into a race to the bottom on pricing, because if your services look identical to everyone else's, the only way a prospect can differentiate between you and the next agency is by price. So here's what happens next. Even when you do land a client, they may view you as a replaceable vendor because you are replaceable. There's nothing proprietary about what you're offering, and if someone else can do it pretty much as good as you, the client's going to be fine. So after a few months, client engagement drops. They start questioning value. Retention becomes a nightmare unless you have a system in place demonstrating more value and maintaining a good relationship. This is the commoditization crisis, and it's why so many agencies hit a wall and struggle to scale past 5 or 6 clients. You're stuck in this cycle of constantly pushing, constantly prospecting, constantly replacing churned clients. It's exhausting, it's expensive, and frankly, it's not why you started your agency. So it's the opposite of the push trap. You probably guessed where I'm going: the pull strategy. Now, I bet you're expecting some acronym, but it's much, much simpler than that. The pull strategy is to stop selling services and start selling a system. The top agencies in the world, agencies like Kalungi, Client Boost, and yes, Mina Marketing, agencies doing 7 and 8 figures a year easily, don't sell hours. They don't sell Facebook ad management or email automation setup. They sell access to their own system, a proprietary methodology based on results. They position themselves as strategic consultants and experts providing results, not just vendors providing a service to check a box. And that shift changes everything. What's running under the hood may be using the same tools, but it's positioned differently. Because when you have a proprietary system, you're no longer competing on price. You're competing on results, on expertise, on the unique way that you solve problems that nobody else can replicate. This is the foundation of the pull strategy. But here's the thing: you can't pull without knowing exactly who you're pulling. This is where it's easy to get things wrong, especially when starting out. Again, I've been there. I used to think that differentiation means being better at Facebook ads, or having cooler automation flows, better SEO. That's not differentiation. That's just incremental improvement on the same generic services. Real differentiation starts with defining your ideal client profile, or ICP. You need to get specific. This seems like a double-edged sword, right? Because if you niche down, then you lose opportunities. It's entirely possible to niche down without saying no to everyone who doesn't fit into your perfect little ICP box. What you want to do is dive into a single market and start there. Because the truth is that when you're trying to serve everyone, you serve no one well. And more importantly, you can't build a pull system without focus. Let me give you an actionable starting point if you're new to this. You don't need to immediately chase $1 million plus enterprise clients, and you shouldn't. Start with what you know. If you're brand new to agency life, focus on a local market. Be the agency for businesses in your city or region. Or focus on an industry you deeply understand. Maybe you spent 10 years in healthcare, or you have a background in real estate. That natural expertise gives you credibility you can immediately leverage. This is location-based or expertise-based specialization, and it's how you start building that pull. Because when you specialize, you gain mastery. You're not doing surface-level work for 20 different industries. You're going deep on one audience, refining your processes, understanding their exact pain points, developing solutions they can't get anywhere else. Why? Because when a prospect sees that you only work with businesses like theirs, you're not just another vendor. You're the expert. You're the authority. And that authority is what creates the pull. But again, if you're just starting out and you don't know where to start, pick your local area and you can always niche down further over time as you figure out what your team does best. Your specialty can be Denver, Colorado businesses or businesses in Western Miami. It doesn't have to be roofers or dentists. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. The team behind Smart Directory AI, the tool I'm going to mention a little later, actually started their own agency that took off after they built a local directory for Hawaii businesses where they lived. They didn't get successful by cold emailing every business in Hawaii offering the same marketing services as everyone else. They built a high-value asset first, a directory that showcased local businesses, provided real utility to consumers, and positioned them as the local authority for digital presence in Hawaii. That directory became their pull mechanism. Businesses saw it, recognized the value, and some even reached out to them asking how they could get featured, how they could upgrade their listings, how they could get more visibility. See how this naturally leads into getting more clients? This is the difference between push and pull. With push, you're sending a generic email. Hey, we can help you get more leads with Facebook ads. With pull, you're sending a notification. Hey, we've already created a high-value listing for your business on our directory. Here's the link. Is everything right? Do you want to claim it and add more detail to make it more attractive to customers? One of these emails gets deleted, the other one gets a response, because you've already provided value before asking for anything in return. This is what I mean by selling a system, not a service. The directory itself is part of that system. It's proprietary. It demonstrates local expertise. It gives you a legitimate reason to start a warm conversation with every single business in your niche. It shows you know what you're doing and reveals professionalism, builds trust. And here's the key. This outreach isn't a pitch, it's a notification. You're not asking them to buy something, not yet. You're informing them that something valuable already exists, their business listing, and you're offering to help them maximize it. So that they respond, and response rates here are more like 8% instead of that 1 to 5% of random cold email. Then they become a warm lead. And warm leads convert at a much higher rate than ones from cold outreach. So how do you actually build this? You need two things, the leads and the asset. For leads, you can use tools like Apollo, LinkedIn Sales Navigator, a web scraper tool like D7 or Outscraper, or even just manual research from looking at Google Maps for local businesses. That's the easy part. The hard part is taking that lead data and instantly turning it into a public, high-value asset that proves your authority. And this is where most agencies get stuck, because manually creating hundreds or thousands of business listings is impossible. You need automation. You need a system that integrates directly with your Go High Level account, pulls in lead data, and automatically generates those listings. And those listings need to be able to be enriched with data, with more data. Operating hours, maps, contact info, reviews, because that structured data is what builds trust with consumers and ranks in local search. This is the infrastructure of the pull system. And until recently, building something like this required custom development, clunky WordPress plugins, or duct taping together 5 different tools that constantly required maintenance or a developer background. The final piece, scaling the pull. You can't manually create thousands of high-value assets. You need a single seamless platform that's already integrated with Go High Level to automate this entire process. And that's exactly why Smart Directory AI exists. This is the only Go High Level app built specifically to create this pull mechanism that automates the entire process. You feed it your lead list, and it instantly generates professional SEO-optimized directory listings for each business. Then, and this is the key, those listings become the foundation for your outreach. You're not cold emailing anymore. You're notifying businesses that they already have a valuable asset and offering to help them claim and upgrade it. This shifts the entire dynamic. You're not a vendor pushing services. You're an authority offering access to your proprietary system. And the results prove it works. Agencies using this strategy are reporting sales ranging from $149, that's recurring annual fee for a premium directory listing, all the way up to $12,500 a month for full service marketing packages they upsell into. Because here's what happens. Once a business responds to your notification about the listing, they've demonstrated they're aware of the importance of having their business information out there and correct. That signals that they might be willing to invest in marketing if they think it will pay off, which makes them a qualified lead for your higher ticket services later on. Your automation builds, your AI agents, your SEO packages, your full Go High level management. The directory listing is that gateway. The real revenue comes from the back end. And just to put this in perspective, agencies using this model have generated over $400,000 in reported wins as of a few months ago. That's not theoretical. That's real revenue from real agencies implementing this pull strategy. So here's the choice in front of you. You can keep pushing, cold emailing, cold calling, fighting for that 0.05% conversion rate, constantly chasing the next client, or you can build a pulse, create a high value asset that positions you as the authority, automate warm outreach, and watch qualified clients come to you. Will you still need to do some work? Of course. This isn't magic. And you still need to actually provide the services that you're selling. But it makes prospecting for clients a whole lot easier and more effective. And that's what we're after. If you want to go the pull route, there's a link in the description to get a free trial of Smart Directory AI. It comes with the full system, the directory, the preloaded conversion workflows, and access to the Smart AI Launch Lab, so you know exactly how to deploy this in your agency. There's also a link down there for a free Go High level trial if you're not already using it. So stop pushing, start pulling. I'll see you in the next one.